How does he go from Hollywood star to standing over his ex's body with a butcher's knife covered in blood? It was summer 2008 in beautiful San Marcos, California. Shelly Malil was living the dream. He'd gone from being a very young boy with big dreams of making it in Hollywood to actually making it in Hollywood. He started out in New York and then moved to LA and got super popular roles in shows like ER and Scrubs, and then starred in The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Everyone was like, wow, this guy is going places. His career is going from strength to strength. In 2007, though, he met a woman called Kendra Beebe. Now, there was a pretty big age gap. She was 35, and I think he was in his mid-40s. They seemed to hit it off and seemed to the outside world like they were really in love. They jetted off to Mexico and seemed to have a great time. Until a year later, when suddenly Kendra ended things. Her friends were like, what's going on? We thought you were happy. But she said to them, no, this guy isn't who I thought he was. He became very controlling, very jealous. She was like, do you know what? I just don't want to live that way. I don't want my partner to be that way. So she ended things. But like so many abusive partners, Shelly absolutely begged her. He was relentless and pressured her to meet up with him again. That August, he was like, please, let's go for a walk on the beach. Like, I want to talk to you one-on-one. So eventually Kendra gave in, but it was a trap. Shelly drove Kendra to a secluded beach, shoved her out the car, and drove off in a cloud of sand. She was stranded. Meanwhile, he raced over to her house. He broke in and started helping himself to all of her prized possessions. He locked her out. She just had an absolute nightmare trying to make it home from the beach and make it back into her own property. But it was about to get a hell of a lot worse. Kendra finally managed to make her own way home, shaken up but alive. She thought maybe that was the last time she would hear from her ex. He'd pulled this horrible stunt, but hopefully he was out of her life. But she couldn't have been more wrong. A couple of days later, she was chilling in her garden with a glass of wine and a friend, when all of a sudden, out of the blue, Shelly burst into the garden. Now, originally the friend thought that Shelly was kind of running up to her to give her a hug. It was almost like he lunged at her, and then they saw the blood. Now, the friend tried grabbing the knife off Shelly immediately, but he frantically plunged it again and again into Kendra's chest. When the friend eventually did overpower Shelly, he ran into the kitchen and grabbed a butcher's knife. Now, Kendra ran into the house desperately trying to get away, but she was like slipping on her own blood. It was brutal. She collapsed onto the floor as he stabbed her yet again, first with the butcher's knife and then with a broken wine glass. And there was no doubt he wanted to kill her. He then grabbed a cushion and tried to smother her as she scrambled free. I have no idea how this woman managed to get the energy to get up and run to try and get help after being stabbed 23 times. Now, neighbors heard the commotion and ran to the front of the house just in time to see Kendra fall onto the floor into a heap. Shelly scrambled away like the absolute coward that he is, and Kendra was raced to hospital. By some miracle, she managed to survive this horrific attack, and she honestly is just one of the most brave and courageous women that I've heard of recently. Police eventually hunted Shelly down at a train station, undoubtedly trying to flee. He tried to plead not guilty at trial and said that this was all him acting in self-defense. I'm sorry, you were in her own garden with a knife. It was pretty laughable. This guy was supposed to be a professional actor, but the entire jury saw through his victim act. But prepare for your blood to boil. He ended up serving just 8 years in prison before he was released. Brave survivor Kendra spoke out after his release saying she lived her life in constant fear, and I'm not surprised.